audio tape recordings of the regular meeting and to admit any members of the public who have chosen to listen to the meeting online. And please confirm when you're ready.
The public has been admitted.
Recording in progress.
Recording has started.
Ovanda, recording started.
Thank you. My name is Lisa Washington, and I'm Deputy General Counsel of the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, also known as Atlanta Housing. Before the regular meeting is called to order, please consider the following announcements. We welcome the members of the public who have joined us in person in the Pecan Room at the Atlanta Housing Headquarters for this regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Atlanta Housing. We also welcome the members of the public who have joined this meeting via audio conference. There's also an option to view the meeting live streamed. Members of the public can find the link in the notices section on the Atlanta Housing website. The live streaming link is also contained on Atlanta Housing Board Docs. Please be advised that any members of the public who wish to address the board during the time for public comment period must sign up on the public speaker's sign-up sheet at the front door of the Pecan Room. A link to the meeting agenda, board resolutions, and presentation materials are available for review by the public by accessing the link on the Atlanta Housing website at www.atlantahousing.org/notices.
To the commissioner, I just want to be very transparent. General Counsel is not here today. He's playing sick. He thought he was going to go to the Braves game this afternoon, so Lisa's standing in with.
Thank you for that, and we hope that Dwayne gets well. Good afternoon. My name is Larry Stewart, and I serve as the chair of the Board of Commissioners. I am calling this regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, to order. Today is April 26, 2023, and the time is 2:09. Will the Deputy General Counsel take the roll and determine quorum for the meeting?
Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Kirsch?
Here.
Commissioner Elliott? Commissioner Elliott? Commissioner Faruqi?
Here.
Commissioner Harris? Here. Commissioner Hooker? Commissioner Hooker? Commissioner Alvarado? Commissioner Alvarado? Chairman, there is a quorum present.
All right, so I'm sure you just heard a new name on the list of people that we are that join us here as the Board of Commissioners. So as of probably maybe about 20, 30 minutes ago, we want to acknowledge that we have a new commissioner, Joel Alvarado. He may stop in today, but if he does not, then we'll see him next week in our committee and our May board meeting. So he's going to be taking over the seat that was resigned by Commissioner Tanae Traylor effective last month, and we look forward to Commissioner Alvarado's insights and his contributions to the Board of Commissioners. Before we move forward, does anybody else have any comments about Commissioner Alvarado, or do they want to reserve the time to say something when he's here? All right. With that said, then let's go ahead and adopt the agenda. The agenda has been presented to the board for review and comment. Are there any proposed changes to the agenda? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All right, so moved by Commissioner Kirsch and seconded by Commissioner Faruqi. Is there any discussion? Hearing no further discussion, I will call for a vote. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion is carried.
Commissioners, the minutes of the regular Board of Commissioners meeting held on March 22nd, 2023 are before the board for review and comment. Are there any proposed corrections to the minutes of this meeting?
All right, so if there are no proposed changes, then may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on March 22nd, 2023?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All right, so moved by Commissioner Kirsch and seconded by Commissioner Faruqi. Is there any discussion related to the motion to approve the minutes of the March 22nd, 2023 meeting? All right, hearing no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion is carried. And this is the time where we have public comment. So members of the public who wish to address the board signed up on the public speaker sign-up sheet as they entered the meeting. Each speaker who has signed up will be called to the podium and will have 3 minutes to address the board. Have any members of the public signed up to speak?
Chairman, we have 3 members of the public who have signed up to speak. The first member of the public who signed up to speak is Ms. Chandra Galashaw. Okay. Is Ms. Chandra Galashaw here? She.
She has been taken care of.
Oh, okay, then,
so I have
Ms.
to give
McLeod?
y'all credit. Y'all doing something. Okay, it's better.
Hold
All
on.
right. So the
Are you
super-
Chandra?
No, I'm not Sandra.
Okay,
I'm
so
Marjorie
hold on,
McLeod.
before you say more.
Okay.
Okay.
If-
The second
did
member
you
of the
sign
public?
up?
Yes.
Okay, so if you signed up, let me let you get called up. We'll call you. We got 3 people.
Okay.
And when we call you up, then we'll make sure that you have all the time. All right.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
well, actually, are you Ms. McLeod? Yes. Okay, Ms.
All right.
Margie McLeod.
Then now you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all very much. And I thanking y'all for doing what you're doing because I just came down here to check. Sometimes we could give you good praise. Sometimes you get negative. But the solution is, and I want to give y'all the solution. By me being in the military for 20 years, inspection, I think that why the people don't come out and complain like they should, if you know the housing is on the list, I don't know what code enforcement do. Do they go out to each housing where you're on that list? Because the people is not going to come to you. So are you checking to make sure the housing is updated? That's what you need to do. So if you don't need, hire more people. That create more jobs. Because then code enforcement, I don't know, just for housing, a house, people live in homes, they come by my house and they check to make sure my house is up to date. So I believe that since the people ain't coming to you and you know you have problems, you know the landlord not fixing anything. So let's hire some people, code enforcement, whatever you want to call them, that go into them housing and department because you own them. Not you don't own them, but you're responsible for them. And maybe that could stop the landlord doing what they're doing because you're selling it. Then another management come over and taking over. People are afraid to say anything. Did you live like that? We shouldn't live like that. And I know everybody getting ready for the World Cups. Where the people going? And believe me, rent is not going down. So thank you for helping. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else for public comment today?
Yes, Chairman, we have one more person for public comment. Ms. Jolie William. Is Ms. Jolie William still interested in providing public comment? Okay, no, there are no other members of the public who've signed up to speak, and we did not receive any comments via email, Chairman.
All right. Okay, so I'll just make one quick comment, and then we will close public comment. So I know that we had for the last couple of months some people who had come and spoke, and we did give a written response to the questions that were asked, and it looks like one of our commenters just left, but I did just want to acknowledge that we do take all the communication seriously. We have always responded in kind to those things. So I know that there were some comments about inspections, which I know we do pretty frequently. We are mandated to do that. So when there are specific things, please feel free to bring them, whether if you feel like doing them from the podium or whether or not you feel like sending them in to us. We investigate all of those things and have done that. And so I just want to make sure that I continue to encourage people. Helpful to highlight things, but also more helpful to tell us specifically what we're actually up against so that we are not trying to chase ghosts. So with that said, I think this ends public comment unless any other commissioners have any comments.
I was just going to make one comment. The lady who was speaking was talking about code enforcement, and I want to share some of that credit with the city and the Department of Code Enforcement and the mayor's office. It speaks to sort of the partnership that that Atlanta Housing and the commissioners you're looking at have with the city and the mayor's office, and they've, I know, made a concerted effort to focus on code enforcement in dealing with negligent landlords. So it's good to see that that represented here today, that partnership.
And excuse me, Chairman, if I may interrupt, Ms. Julie William had stepped out of the room, but she is back. If you would be willing to allow her to continue to provide her public comment?
Sure.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jody Williams, and I'm with Maturing Young Women and Men. And what I want to say today, because I'm not going to make it long, I was here on the last meeting. You know, people are having trouble. They're homeless. And a person called me the other day, and they tried to get an apartment because their Section 8 certificate ran out. And they did a credit check. Her information came back that she had no established credit. And if I'm not mistaken, this was a place based on your income. And they refused her, you know, and so she's still living with her kids in her car. So I just wanted to address that because I don't know how that can be if she have no credit and she's being refused. So I would like someone to speak with me, whoever can do that, because this is really becoming, you know, a real horrible pandemic. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we'll get someone to get her information and maybe find out more details about that specific information. Okay, thank you. All right, so that would end public comment. Unless someone else jumped in the room? Okay.
No, sir.
All right, good. At the Board of Commissioners' September 22nd, 2001 meeting, the board approved a consent agenda protocol. There are 5 resolutions appearing below that have received unanimous votes of approval at the Board of Commissioners' Real Estate Committee meeting held on April 19th, 2023. The collective group of resolutions on the consent agenda will be approved by a single motion to adopt all resolutions and the affirmative majority vote of the Board of Commissioners. If discussion on any resolution is desired by a commissioner, the commissioner must make that desire known to the board chair immediately following the reading of the consent agenda items. And the resolutions will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately, or in the discretion of the board chair, a discussion may occur prior to the vote on the consent agenda resolutions. Moreover, if a commissioner simply wants his or her vote to be specifically recorded on a particular item, separate votes may be taken on those resolutions. Will the Deputy General Counsel identify the 5 resolutions on the consent agenda for the record?
Commissioners, before you are copies of the following consent agenda resolutions. Item number 2315, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to provide a funding commitment for the infrastructure funding for the southern portion of the Herndon Homes site and request United States Department of Housing and Urban Development approval for the disposition of approximately 3.42 acres for the development of Herndon Square Phase 2. Item number 2316, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to, 1, increase funding for the Atlanta Housing Co-Investment Program, and 2, amend the program guidelines to expand partnership opportunities for funding affordable housing. Item number 2317, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to extend the term of the HomeFlex agreement with Capital Gateway Partnership 2 LP for Capital Gateway 2. Item number 2319, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to revise the ground lease agreement with the City of Atlanta for 1110 Hill Street Southeast and 0 Inglewood Avenue Southeast, Atlanta, Georgia, known as Inglewood North, and to submit an amendment to the previous disposition application to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for Inglewood North. And item 2320, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to provide commitments for Section 8 project-based voucher housing assistance, home flex assistance, loan commitments, and an option to assume the ground lease in support of the 9% low-income housing tax credit application for Columbia at Mechanicsville Apartments.
May I have a motion to consider, adopt, and approve the consent agenda containing resolutions 2315, 2316, 2317, 2319, and 2320?
So moved.
All right, may I have a second?
Second.
All right, so moved by Commissioner Faruqi and seconded by Commissioner Kirsch. Is there any discussion related to the consent agenda resolutions? All right, hearing no further discussion, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries.
Commissioners, before you is a copy of Resolution 2318, where the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to enter into a Home Flex Haven commitment with one applicant to the Home First related Notice of Funding Availability for up to 42 permanent supportive housing units at 111 Moreland Avenue.
All right, may I have a motion to consider Resolution 2318?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All right. So moved by Commissioner Kirsch and seconded by Commissioner Faruqi. All right, Dee Dee, take it away.
Good afternoon. My name is Dee Dee Beatty. I'm the Chief Real Estate Officer. Today I'm here to present Resolution 2318. This resolution was initially presented and approved at our Board Real Estate Committee on Wednesday, April 19th, where we were seeking authorization to enter into a home flex commitment for 42 permanent supportive housing units at the 111 Moreland Permanent Supported Housing Project. Since that time, staff members from the City of Atlanta Mayor's Office, as well as Councilwoman Liliana Bakhtiari, have facilitated a meeting with community members in order to gain support for the project. And based on those recent and planned ongoing conversations, there is a possibility that the total unit count will be reduced. Therefore, in anticipation of that happening, we're seeking to slightly change the request to seek authorization for an up to 42 permanent supportive housing units. Again, anticipation that the unit count will probably be decreased but not exceed the 42. Obviously, with a reduction in the total units, this will result in an estimated financing gap of approximately $1.5 million. However, the City of Atlanta is working with the developer to find sources to fill that gap. So that's an opening statement, but if you need me to go into the presentation, I can do that as well. Any questions?
Pretty simple update, and so I don't think I have any questions. Anybody else have any comments or questions?
You answered my question, which was the impact to feasibility of the project that results in a $1.5 million gap, and just recognizing that a reduction of units would create the necessity for additional resources, and just recognizing the trade-off between unit count and resources required to make something possible. So it's a good illustration of a challenge that we face on a lot of issues, and so thanks for bringing this before us. So just to clarify, it could still be 42. It's the up to 42 language.
That is correct.
All right, any other comments or questions? All right, hearing no further discussion, I will call for the vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioners, for the final resolution, before you is a copy of Resolution 2321, where the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to amend the committee membership on all standing and special board committees. And if the chair will allow it, I will present this resolution on behalf of the chair.
Sure.
Okay, Resolution 2321, as the Commissioners will recall, to facilitate the conduct of the board, business of the Board of Commissioners, under the amended and restated bylaws of the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, adopted January 30th, 2019, Atlanta Housing has the option to organize and establish board committees. Specifically, Article 5 of the bylaws contains provisions relating to the creation of the 2 standing committees, as well as an unspecified number of special committees. The age board standing committees are the Operations Committee and the Audit Finance Committee. And the age board has also reestablished 2 special committees, the Real Estate Committee and the Resident Engagement Relations Committee, all of which can review, vet, and offer guidance to some or all of the resolutions coming before the board. The meetings of all the standing committees and the special board committees are conducted in accordance with Georgia Open Meetings Act, as well as AH's bylaws. The board voted to confirm the membership on each of the board committees by resolution AH1 at its October 26, 2022 regular board meeting. However, since the approval of resolution AH1, as the chairman mentioned earlier, Commissioner Tanae Traylor has resigned from the board effective March 31st, 2023. And the Atlanta City Council has confirmed Commissioner Joel Alvarado on April 17, 2023. In light of these changes, an amendment to the board committee membership is appropriate. The descriptions and details of the committee are provided in detail on Exhibit 2321, but I will highlight the changes that are in this resolution. So for the Operations Committee, Commissioner Stewart will be chairing that committee, replacing Commissioner Traylor, but the committee members will remain, Commissioner Harris and Commissioner Kirsch will remain committee members, and Commissioner Alvarado will be joining that committee. Commissioner Faruqi will now be the chair, replacing Commissioner Stewart of the Audit Finance Committee, and members Commissioner Hooker and Commissioner Stewart will remain members of that committee. The members and chairmanship of the Real Estate Committee will remain as previously approved. And for the Resident Engagement Relations Committee, Commissioner Alvarado will be joining Commissioner Elliott, who's chairing, and Commissioner Harris. And I have nothing further unless you have some questions.
No questions. I'll just make a comment. So first, thank you to Commissioner Faruqi for who will take over the Finance Committee so that I can transition over to our Operations Committee. We're looking forward to having Commissioner Alvarado join both our Resident Engagement and our Operations Committees. And so we'll look forward to seeing him involved and engaged in May. And so with that said, hopefully we'll adopt this change. All right, if there are no other pieces of discussion or feedback, then I want to call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Apologies, Chairman, this is my fault. I actually jumped ahead of your motion. Go ahead and do your motion.
Oh, that's right. Okay, may I have a motion to consider Resolution 2321?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All right, so moved by Commissioner Kirsch and seconded by Commissioner Faruqi. And are there any questions? It sounds like, I think that's no, so we're going to go to the vote. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the motion carries. Executive session, I don't think there's any need for executive session, and so now we will get to our President and CEO's report.
No report at this time, Commissioners, and thank you.
All right, no report from the President and CEO. Do we have any comments from any of our commissioners? All right, well, before we get to adjournment, I just want to make sure that I highlight 2 things. I always like to make sure I highlight what these resolutions kind of mean, big picture, right? So what we've, I think, in all of those, whether it's Herndon, or we're talking about the creation of units, or we're talking about what we're doing with Capital Gateway and Inglewood, Moreland, this represents what would be, upon completion, the creation of up to 242 units. What the preservation is up to 162. So as we keep looking to meet our goals of 5,000 created and 5,000 preserved, this monthly update keeps us at least focused on that goal, and I think on track. So congratulations and thank you to everyone who made that possible. Lastly, I do want to just reiterate a congratulations to Joel Alvarado. We look forward to seeing him next month. And then lastly, I want to say thank you to Angela Wallace. Today is National Administrative Professionals Day, and she does a tremendous job. And so I want to say publicly thank you for all you do for us, for me, for our team. And so we honor you today. So thank you very much. And with that, I think it's time to close out. So if there's no further business of the board, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
All right, may I have a second? Oh, we got a second? All right, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.